Welcome back to another episode of Dadam Reacts. We're going to get right into the next one here with A Quiet Place Day 1. This is this official second non-teaserish trailer. I believe this is the one they just put out in theaters to kind of like really push the movie narrative. Um, I love seeing Lupita actually get to play a real character. She's not um some alien CGI character, a voice in someone's head. Um, she's an incredibly gifted, beautiful actress, and it's a shame that they hide her behind so many characters in all the movies she's in. But I am really excited for this one because obviously it's directed by John Krasinski, who killed it on the first one. The second one fell off a little bit, and I think part of it was because he wasn't in it. The first one, spoiler alert, don't feel bad if you haven't seen it, but you should. Um, Killing his character off and adding that peril to the second movie was really good, but replacing his paradigm with the new guy, I don't know. It didn't fit right. I would have preferred them instead of adding that second male character, like father figure, into the storyline. They would have just left it with the girls, right? If it would have just been Emily and the girls and the baby, I think the movie would have had more theatrical suspense built into it, as well as it wouldn't have like I don't understand why movies always feel like they have to replace a character with another one that's like adjacent to it or like trying to equal up to it. Like sometimes you need to leave that void because it makes his death feel more relevant. But let's get into this. I'm really excited for this. I think he's created a really good world, cinematic world, and like series with this. And again, Lupita actually getting to play a real human being is amazing.
It's a service cat.
No, where's her kitty? I'm just say it right now. This whole movie is about her trying to find her cat. I am so in for it.
Shelter in place.
Oh, she got it back already.
Awaiting further instruction.
We can help each other. We have to get out of the city.
Gotta throw him away every time.
If we stay here, we die.
I have a plan.
It's the end of days.
No more people.
No more New York. No more nothing.
That's awesome. Okay, so we're gonna jump to a bunch of things in this. First off, scale maximized. I love how he really upped the ante. He had the best like 15 20 minutes of the second movie are all the stuff in the past when his town starts getting overrun, and like you had those car scenes that were incredibly dramatic and just super high impact. And you get to experience this full bore because it's happening in New York, right? The loudest place on the planet, essentially. Um, so incredibly strong setting to put it in. Way more complicated for him to film. Um, as opposed to he's very good at being extremely intimate in the smaller setting and the smaller scale, like in the first two movies, because it's just a couple of people, and he killed all of those scenes. They're so powerful. But when you go up to that global scale, or when you go up to that wider scale, you start to lose that to some degree. And I think that's where, like, you know, for what it's worth, the action sequences in a Michael Bay movie are incredibly difficult to film, to schedule, to plan out. Um, it's a masterpiece, and it takes a lot of technical skill and knowledge and really good cinematic understanding in your head to piece those things together to make it seem very congruent. And that's just not something that comes easily, and that's why there's a difference between a Michael Bay, like people say he glorifies, the explosions and things. He's glorifying it because he understands how difficult it is to film those things, and he wants to put them on showcase. It's one of the things that's so great about Tom Cruise as a technical actor, stuntman, um, in the way he films his movies. Is he wants you to experience the reality of how difficult those things are, and I can appreciate that, right? Because I've worked in the industry a little bit, so I love how he's upping the ante here. And by doing it on a larger scale, he's allowing him to be intimate in those moments in a very impactful way, as well as adding just a lot of global bearings to it.
You can't have a cat in here.
It's a service cat.
I love the scene with the cat. Um, he gets to do all these big action set pieces, which I think are going to be really good. And I think he's pulling a lot from his acting career because he started doing all those movies where he was like, um, what was it, 30 Dark, I think he was in, or no, which one was he? He's in the one about Benghazi, I believe, where he plays like a master sergeant or something like that. When the Benghazi files got leaked and that platoon of, I think it was Marines or something, got killed when they were protecting um that base. But I think he's drawing inspiration from how he saw those movies get filmed to really do this.
We can help each other. We have to get out of the city.
So this is where you can see this is the military trying to cordon off the city, so they're blowing up all the bridges. I don't know if this is Manhattan or Brooklyn. I don't know, like I'm not well versed with New York enough to know, like, depending on the angle, because I don't have a point of reference. I don't see the Freedom Tower where it is now, or the Empire State Building, so I can't like pick that up. But I think when it's the four bridges are involved, I think it's the borough. So I think it's somewhere near Brooklyn, maybe Jersey or something like that. But yeah, so the military's locking them in so they can't escape. So even if they wanted to, they can't get by. You gotta throw D-Minute. DJ just gets thrown into everything. I'm in for it, but at the same token, I feel like he's getting used as a token character way too much. He's an incredible actor.
If we stay here, we die.
I couldn't read those signs.
I have a plan.
So they're gonna try and
It's the end
skate
of
through the.
days. No more people. No more New York.
I'm looking for that one scene that's coming up here in a second. When it's the whole city walking quietly. Yeah, like this. Like that's. What an incredible scene to get to film. right? And they probably didn't have this many people. This is probably a lot of AI generated on the sides, or like in between to fill the spots. Most likely, with how clear these white shirts are in these are probably people being put in. But like, it's going to be a really good, and this is where him going to like a larger scale, he can still be extremely intimate in a moment like this where he's filming 10,000 people trying to escape, right? Because they're all quiet. I love that cat. I already love that cat. This scene right here. Okay, so this is underrated. There's nothing I hate more in science fiction and horror and all of those things when characters are just freaking dumb. They have absolutely no sense of autonomy. They're just set pieces, and you can tell they're set pieces, right? And it just doesn't make any sense, and it's just like, oh my god, it just drives me nuts. But like, I love just little moments like that where he's setting off car alarms to uh, drag the creatures in a different direction so that they can escape, and then like a scene like this, like just building that tension, and it's really close, it's in your face, right? And then pop. Oh. I love how he's not hiding them anymore. They are just full force in every frame. Just all the monsters are there the whole time. I'm really excited for this. I'm going to try and go to theaters to get it, but we're just gonna have to see financially where we're at, and how busy I am with work. But like I'm so into the world he's created because I love the pause. I love the power of a pause, and I think that's the thing where I try to teach it to my coworkers when they're talking is sometimes you don't have to fill space with noise. Just let there be a moment of silence or pause, and that's powerful enough, especially when it comes to sales or scheduling. Anything where you're trying to get a service out of somebody or you're trying to sell your service to um, having that pause to let them fill that space is incredible. And in a movie, when you have that pause, the audience feels that tension. And if you've never been to a horror movie or a science fiction movie or a drama or something where there's tension and you can feel the entire audience gripping onto their seat at the same time, like that's one of the greatest feelings. It's why I love going to the movies. It's why I love movies. Is a scene like that where you can just feel everyone, and then you hear that one person just goes, and like you can hear them audibly take a massive breath because their anxiety is kicking in. I love that, and that's what the first movie was when we went and saw it in theaters. I just remembered the pauses in those movies or those moments, and just feeling the anxiety of the people you're watching the movie with. I love that. That's such a good feeling. Um, and it's hard to get in movies now because a lot of them they just have like eerie noise or they just have all this additional like screeching. Like there's something to be said about a killer walking down a hallway um in a looming manner like Michael Myers or Jason or something like that, right? And then if you were to see that movie made today, like they're dragging a knife across lockers and it's just like you can hear the the knife dragging against the metal and it's doing that screeching noise, or like they have to be like these weird like maniacs or psychotics or like and they're just like it's like at times that works, but I think it's being overkilled now. um but let me know in the comments below, what do you think about the Quiet Place Day One? Because I'm hyped for it. I i love. Oh, John didn't even direct it. That's crazy. Okay. So John was a writer on it, but then he handed it off to Michael Sarnowski. All right. Take a look at Michael and see what he's been doing. Oh, he did Pig. Okay. I I can see why John probably didn't have any issues with somebody else directing it. If you've never seen Pig, you should watch it. It's a really powerful Nicolas Cage movie. That's it's pretty it's pretty crazy. Um it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I like that. He doesn't have a really big filmography, so this is going to be kind of like a breakout movie for him. If it does really well, I think it'll do good for him. So that's awesome. But that's also probably why there was so much different in that in the feeling of that. Yeah, so he does Jack Ryan now. And that might actually be why he didn't direct it because um dude, I think they're on like season 5 or 6 of this now. Something like that. We still don't know if this is ever going to be a thing where he's actually going to play Reed Richards. Um, Disney has not officially said yes or no, and it's just one of those things. It's just one of those things where we're kind of like waiting for it. I think one of the saddest things is just the simple fact that Stan Lee never got to see a good a Fantastic Four movie get made. Like I think that's the only thing he didn't get to see happen with his universe, with the Marvel universe, is he never got to see Fantastic Four succeed. And if I'm not mistaken, it is his favorite set of characters. I think he personally wrote all of them. I don't know the exact um legacy of how they got written. I don't know if Kirby was involved in them, but I mean, he was really good in this. In I thought he held the part really well. I think he could have made a really good read. He's oozing with charisma. Um, he could play a really smart scientist with no issues. Like he wouldn't be outside the realm. Like that's easily a Reed Richards. Like he looks like Reed Richards in the comics. Like no questions asked. Um, but let's check DJ out. It's interesting that they have DJ as the top cast when literally it should be Lupita, then it should be Joseph Quinn. Um, there's no one else really big in this movie, so Lupita's probably the biggest one. But to show you what I was talking about, all right, we're gonna look at Lupita's filmography. So besides like Us and Black Panther, which she just ends up having a real cameo in, she doesn't have a really big uh a big part. They just she's just a voice actor in everything in here. Just voice actor. Voice actor, voice actor. She starred in Us, and it didn't. I don't know if critically it did as well as it should have, but voice actor, voice actor, voice actor, voice actor, voice actor. Like, and she's so powerful. She's so good, and she's Maz Kanata in the Star Wars the new trilogy. Um, yeah, I mean, but anyways, they just throw a DJ and everything. I mean, he's an incredibly strong actor, and he has such a range of emotions, and he can carry a movie. And if you've never seen Blood Diamond, he is so good in Blood Diamond. This movie is such a good movie. Um, but now he's just like he just feels like a bit character in so many things now, where he's like a cameo. He's just an additional like just throw in color flavor character, and he's so much better than that. In Shazam, he plays the wizard for like 2 seconds, so he has that role in Black Adam. In Rebel Moon, he's Titus, where he's just like that character again. In A Quiet Place, you know, that was his character. Like he just appeared. I don't know. I feel like he should be getting bigger parts, but I don't get to make those choices, right? In Aquaman, he was just a voice character. He didn't actually get to play any person, which I thought was interesting. Um, in Tarzan, he plays Chief Mumbunga, and he's got like 5 minutes of airtime. I loved his part in it too. Just I don't know what happened. I don't know where the fall off happened with him, which I think is interesting. He did voice acting, by the way, for Black Panther as T'Challa, and I loved that version of Black Panther. I thought he did a really good job, and I thought he's very apropos. I mean, obviously, you're never gonna take away from Chad. Chad is just. It's gonna be hard for anyone to step into T'Challa's shoes after that. Um, I mean, he's really good in Blood Moon too, or not Blood Moon, in Rebel Moon, but there's a lot of other things wrong with Rebel Moon. He's the least of the worries. So it's interesting that they keep throwing him into this. So maybe they'll flesh his character out. So maybe he'll actually have a bigger role in this. But I mean, I'm excited for this. Let me know in the comments below. What did you think about as a series? A Quiet Place. What do you think about this movie in particular? Which one was your favorite? Did you think the second one kind of had a little bit of a fall off as well? Um, but I'm so hyped for this. I love science fiction. I love horror. I will always love them. If I was gonna get to direct my own movie, this is the type of movie I'd want to make, a movie about characters surviving and coming together from all walks of life. And I love aspects of that. But drop a like, subscribe, most importantly, and do something kind for somebody else. Pieces.